The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast NH. This is a podcast designed by writers for writers on the journey to being published. Joined Mandra Biscornet.
It was so healthy and nutritious.
Deborah Monk.
Can we open each podcast with a dance number?
Shelly Devlin.
It was so full of inspiration and sparkles.
Every Tuesday morning live on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe to catch the podcast anytime on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, or your favorite podcast catcher. It's time to be inspired, feel empowered, and be well with the Writer's Block Podcast NH.
And welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast. I'm Mandra.
I'm Debbie.
And I'm Shelly.
And thank you for joining us at the Writer's Block, where our mission is to inspire, empower, and help people be well. We're streaming live on Facebook from the Studio 21 Podcast Café, so be sure to check us out there. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about unconventional marketing techniques. Because the truth is, no matter what route you take for publishing, whether you self-publish, go with a small indie, or go the traditional route, you're going to have to market your book. So we're going to spend some time today talking about creative ways to get your book seen and, even more importantly, get your book read. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is merchandising. And Deb, we're going to kick it off with you, because that is your area.
I can't wait to hear, because you've had some stuff going on.
Well, I have.
So first tell us about some of your merchandise.
Okay.
Yeah.
My merchandise, then I've kind of narrowed it down. I started out with probably 10 different things that I tried making to decide which one suited the brand the best. And I came up with a coffee mug that says the title, Well-Behaved Woman Coming Undone, as well as a wine glass. Because what goes better with a good book than a nice cup of hot coffee or maybe a glass of wine? So I created a unique way of combining merchandise with the pleasure of reading my novel, Well-Behaved Woman Coming Undone. And
Which I've never seen before with adult books.
No.
Yeah.
Well, and the thought process was it also helps people realize that it makes a good gift. So, if you're
Right.
going to someone's house for a hostess event or something, and you want to bring them something, you don't necessarily think of a book, but kind of if you bring a book and a kind of a nice glass.
Then it
right.
makes it like a gift, a packaged deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So before I narrowed it down to those, I had done a lot of things. And you guys have seen I did handmade shawls, which I made each one by hand.
Crazy.
How many of those did you end up making?
I'm at 3 so far.
Okay.
I had
Correct
custom.
answer is too many.
Cuts into the snuggle time,
Yes,
Deb.
Right.
during
Again.
snuggle time. Yeah.
I had custom tote bags made that came out that
Did we see those?
No.
I don't think we
I
saw
ever
those.
saw those.
Because they're the ones that came in that I could afford weren't very nice, and the ones that came in that I couldn't afford were really nice. So those got rolled out. I had custom pillows, I had custom tea towels, I did crochet baskets and pashminas, all custom.
So you did go just a bit crazy.
Well, because it's easy to. So Jonathan, I think, has pictures. Yes, so he's showing us there a picture of the book with the glass.
Yep.
And so, when I took those pictures yesterday, my thought was, well, why didn't I just do this in the beginning? Why did I make all that other stuff first? But it's sort of a narrowing down process.
discovery.
You have to create the thing and before you can kind of decide what to do. So
See if it's
that's
going to
what
work. Yeah.
Right, to see
Yeah.
what really works. So that's what I did. And I've been planning to do this for quite a while, as you know. And so in the past 2 weeks, I've started actually, because I have everything pulled together now and have the package, I started reaching out to stores.
Okay.
So
How did it go?
The concept is one thing. It seems like a good idea. So
Right.
the very first store I went to was Casual Cat in Nashua. Oh, and I have to include part of, so now the package is my book, Well-Behaved Woman Coming Undone, the wine glass that matches, the coffee mug that matches, and also I finished my first Seeds of Wisdom, which I had told you, which we've talked about a little bit on the show, the handmade book, which I loved. So that, now I have 4 things in the package. I take it to the Casual Cat, and guess what she took? All of it.
Jeez. Wow. Put the hook out there. We were like,
yes. She took it all. She
seeds?
loved it
She
all.
took it all.
That's
yes.
great.
Now, is the book and the coffee mug packaged like in a box together, or are you just displaying it in the store?
We are still working on that at
Okay.
Casual Cat. She's super nice. Her name is Cindy. She's the owner. She's been the owner for years and years, and she and I are still working on the packaging because she said it really helps customers. If it has to be packaged for them
all
to see
together,
it as
right?
a
Like
gift
the
thing.
2 wine glasses
Right.
in the book, or
Yes.
My idea about duct taping the two together was vetoed by both women.
yes.
Well, they do make duct tape in different colors.
They
you know.
do.
That's
Yeah.
what
So,
I
I mean,
said.
right?
But we had an issue
Then
with
you rip the book.
Yeah, the book kept getting ripped.
And then you get the sticky shit all over
right.
your wine glass.
Right,
That's not
adhesive
good.
on your
You're
wine
right.
glass
Yeah,
is
that's
no
not
good.
That's
So
not good.
she
Speak for
sent-
yourself.
Changes the flavor of my.
Smells delicious.
Jonathan's
Nothing like a
getting
good
hot.
adhesive in the morning. I have to put this tape down. I'm getting distracted.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because we
So
all
that's
know.
so exciting.
Well, that was very exciting. And she gave me the name of her person where she gets her boxes so that I could try to get a custom box. That's cost prohibitive. And so then I made a crochet basket that has the name of the book on it. Fortunately, when I brought that back to her, she wasn't crazy about it because I realized, God forbid.
How are you gonna make those?
That's the point.
what if it's just a
Seriously, in your
basket?
span,
Well,
like
some sort of basket.
I'm waiting now. I tried baskets,
Yeah.
but everything puts the cost up. When you start getting into this, every single penny counts. So right now I'm waiting for, I ordered large organza bags. And so right now that's what
okay.
I'm waiting for. So she
Okay.
doesn't have them in the store yet. But after I left her, I was on a total high. Oh, we're going to do a book signing too. We don't have that date picked. But after that, I was on a super high. So I went
Great.
to Toadstool Bookstore in Nashua. I didn't bring in the mugs. I just brought him my book. He likes my book. He wants to support local authors. They're actually doing a local author event this coming Saturday, which I'm now included.
Awesome.
So if you go on toadstool.com, it's this Saturday at 3 in, I believe it's Milford. It's right on the edge of Nashua, Milford.
Okay.
Toadstool Bookstore. There'll be other authors there. If you go on their website, you can get the information. And I actually went on yesterday. And you should see author Deborah Monk is one of the featured authors.
Aren't you fancy?
And he took some stuff off my website. As I was leaving that store, I bought a book. And as I was paying for it, they had a calendar that was obviously made by an artist. So I said to the woman at the register, I have a handmade book. Do you think I should show him that? She said, absolutely. So I went out to the car. I got it, brought it in. Guess what? He wants it too.
He wants it too.
Now,
Wow. That's the seeds of wisdom.
That's the
Yes.
seeds of wisdom, wings and a tail. So then they have a little coffee shop attached, a little cafe. So after he told me he wanted that too, I went over to the coffee shop and I saw a woman who was interviewing somebody sitting at a table, and I got in line for my coffee. The woman who was sitting interviewing someone finished up. She came over and tapped me on the shoulder. Am I going on too long?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. So
No,
she
this is
came
good.
over and tapped me
Yeah.
on the shoulder and she said, "Can I ask you why you're so happy?" And I said, I know. I said, because I have this little handmade
Because it's
would you
never
a-
written all over her face.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
'Cause
I
she's just
might because
bouncing
she's
up and down.
bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
Yes.
a baby, we
Yes.
would assume it was gas, but she's not.
But if it was gas, it was good gas. So she tapped me and said, can I ask you why you're so happy? And I had my little book, of course, held to my chest. And so I said, I just showed him this is the first time that my Seeds of Wisdom book, my little handmade book. And so she said, oh, sit down. I'm buying your coffee. We sat down. She looked at the book. She had some great ideas, suggestions.
So what is she works there?
She's the manager of the thing.
Oh.
So then she
Of the
said,
coffee shop.
Of the coffee shop.
Okay.
Of the cafe. And so she said, she need a box. This needs a box. It's a keepsake book. Hang on. She went and got into her back. She went and got me a candy box, which was a little 6-inch by 6-inch by 2-inch box that has a little window. So, but this is too thick, but this is what I'm thinking. She pulled out her laptop. We went on her website.
Wow.
She found this little box. It's a pink box. Jonathan should have a picture of that as well. And which just took it up to another level.
Yeah.
So now it's really a keepsake
Look at how
box.
adorable.
Oh, that's
Adorbs.
And when we looked at the cost of the box, I said, that's, putting me a little bit over the price that I was trying to stay at. And she said, Deb, this isn't the kind of book you just throw away. This is a keepsake book.
Right.
This is the type of
It's
book
a
your
treasure.
grandmother gives
Yes.
you. It needs a box. And so, of course, I went home and ordered a bunch of boxes. So we're going to,
So we're upping that price. You're upping.
I did have
you
to go up higher than I
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to,
okay.
but yes. So I'm going to be at Toadstool October 13th at 3 o'clock with it's part of their local author event. So then I was
exciting.
still on, I'm on this high. So I went to Mac & Co., which is a company,
Yep. Lynn Mackey and John
Yep.
Mackey own
Design store
right? For
in
home
Andover.
furnishing store
Yep.
and design store. Yep.
and they have gifts. And so I went to her. She wants them. And we're going to do a book signing there November 14th, which is a Wednesday evening.
Wow.
And she wants everything, the mugs, the blah, blah, blah.
Both books?
Both books, yep.
Yes.
And so I'm also now down in Sisters We 3 in Newburyport. And I approached Annie's Hallmark in Londonderry. I brought her my package. I spoke to the manager. She asked if she could keep the package to show to her buyers. So it's been a very good week. I will also confess that I went to the paper store, which we know I've been to the paper store with my greeting cards before.
You have. You are determined.
You are determined with this paper store.
I'm going to get in that
thing.
paper store. I'm trying, but
Kicking and screaming, Deb's.
yes. So I went last Tuesday. Now, every day I didn't hear back from them, I'm thinking that's a good sign because a no is quick. Right?
Okay.
So this morning before we came here, I thought I should check my email, and I checked my email. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
It was a
And
no.
it was a lovely no.
What did the lovely note
This is
say?
a lovely no. Thanks so much for sending along the sample set. It truly made an impression and was well done. I did consider both books over last week, but I just don't feel that they're a right fit for us now. I think both items are nice, but they will simply get lost in my very small book statement. I just don't see potential for us. I think it's well suited for small gift stores that can make more of a statement, but I have to try and represent the entire book landscape with just a table or 3. I simply don't have the capability to do projects like this. I really appreciate your proposal and thank you for sending in the samples. If you come up with some new titles next year, please reach out to me.
But Deb, how many
we just
yeses?
had like 4 or
What's
5
the other
yeses.
page?
I know.
You had like 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5 yeses
Well,
and
no,
1 no?
Yeah, 4 yeses, 1 they're in process. They're still considering, and then 1. Well, I guess
And
we'll
so
focus on
out of like literally pounding the pavement and walking into places, you got 2 book signings,
Yep.
got your merchandise in there.
Right.
I mean, that's
But you need to think about this too.
Incredible.
Is the 5 that you got as the yes, they saw you in person. And there's an
Right.
impact to meeting you in person. If somebody had
because she's bouncing.
Yeah, right?
It's the whole
Because you
gas
can
theory.
feel the passion.
Right.
You can feel the passion. And
So-
maybe support your local business is going to bring you more revenue than some bigwig.
The big
Oh,
box
see,
store.
I thought what you were saying is I should stalk Mr. Joshua at the paper store.
Oh, that's what you heard me say?
That's what I
Is that
heard.
what you heard me
No.
say, huh?
Make him cookies, put him on the top of his car, and then just sit there like a little Tinkerbell fairy.
I think they might call the police. And then
Then-
Deb would
yeah,
be.
but then I'd have more time to write if I got arrested.
We can't
Wow,
visit. We
she's
can't-
thought about this, Mandra.
Can we do
She's
a writer's
thought about
group
it.
from prison?
We totally can.
I don't think we can podcast from prison.
Well, you
Well,
two
she
might have
gets
to
the
handle
one
it
phone
without
call.
me.
Will they do a Skype? Does
One
that count?
phone call, and Jonathan will turn it into your personal podcast.
There's a whole new thought, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
But I mean, I think that's wonderful. That's way more yeses than
it's way
yes.
more yeses than no. And
Yeah.
the very first time taking out Seeds into Wisdom, because it's so completely handmade, it was scary. And you know me, I take rejection really well. I really do, which is a good thing because there's a lot of rejection in this whole
this
process.
business, yes.
But to have the wings and a tail, to have everyone who's seen it, except for the paper store at this point,
Love it.
yes,
Yeah.
that
and want to make it
really-
even more special. I mean, that woman was like, we have to
she
put
was
this in a
so
box.
helpful.
And
Will
yeah.
there be a book trailer for Seeds and a Prayer?
Seeds in a prayer?
Seeds and a prayer.
Wings and a
Wings
tail?
and wings and a seed,
It's,
whatever that.
Tales of wisdom?
Oh, my.
oh, that's kind of cute.
I
Tales of Wisdom.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Will there be a book trailer for that? I hadn't thought of that.
Well, because we're talking about different marketing things. This is the Marketing Mania podcast, so
Well, we're covering merchandise first. So,
Yes.
But that's
Oh,
a
but
book
I see the book. I
trailers.
just saw the book trailer with like
A mermaid
Shaylin
tail?
dressed as the mermaid and reading the book.
why don't I get to be the mermaid?
Because you're the director
you're
of
the
the
dir-
trailer.
Yes.
well, you can
can't be at
there's
all.
director actors. You can.
There
could
has
do-
to be
okay.
a mama mermaid.
Yes. Well, you can be the mama.
And well,
You need to rent a kid.
I do know. I do.
You rent a kid.
I have rented her before, so. Anyhow, so that's my. No, if the title of
Oh my
book,
God, no better.
What?
It needs to be Sophie because in the end she realizes her wings and her tail. Oh, sorry, I just gave that away. But
Right.
it needs to be Sophie.
She wouldn't do it.
How could we bribe her? What does
It
she
would
need?
take
She
a
needs money.
flight.
A flight.
Another flight.
Another
If I-
flight somewhere.
You could bribe her
Actually,
with a flight.
yeah.
Probably
That's
do
true.
it for $100.
There
No,
you go.
absolutely
Still
not.
a starving college student.
She is no.
Kick her out of the house
also-
first.
Even better with a
She's
big
also-
kid
Take her to
sitting
an
on your
apartment.
lap.
I
Be
know.
like, here's $100, kid.
But she also smells desperation, and she knows she knows she
From
can get more
miles
than
away.
$100 out of me. But as far as merchandise goes, not every book would
Lend itself
right.
to, right.
My first book, Searching for Julia Stone, that really, I didn't do merchandise because it didn't really fit. Now,
Could have done a magnifying glass. Just saying.
searching, yeah, but no.
But you had the wrap. Wasn't that the wrap one from the...
Well, I did from the cover of the book, but I
Yeah.
only did that because I was doing all this other stuff, and it didn't make the final cut anyway. But
Okay. No, I don't... You're right. Merchandising wouldn't work for every single
Right.
book, but
And
what a great idea if
it does work,
it
and I
does
didn't
work.
plan it ahead. It isn't like I did this. I didn't do the title
Right.
with the intent of doing this. But I will admit, going forward, it will be in the back of my mind how important the title is and how I want to use it. Maybe I wouldn't do merchandise next time, but there might be a different way to use the title.
Right. Right.
So,
Well, let's stay on book trailers for
Sure.
a minute since we brought them up, because that is another kind of
marketing tool.
and kind of not an unconventional way, because they are out there and they've been used for children's books and young adult books, but also now for more adult books. And it's like a little mini movie trailer for your book. It's a way to promote your book using a visual images, video, music, and get it out across all kind of online platforms to hopefully reach a larger audience. But there's a couple things we need to remember. We got to keep them short, because people's attention span is like a minute and a half-ish, I think.
Is that what they
online.
suggest?
Right around there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely not much over 2. So you want to keep it short. And what's funny is some authors aren't really comfortable with book trailers because they feel like it's almost a selling out of, I have to use, video and images to promote my printed word. And am I now a slave to YouTube because
Wow.
I'm crossing over type of thing with the media. But the fact remains that's how everybody's buying these days. They're online, they're on Amazon, they're on e-commerce. So it actually gives your book a little bit more life to use a book trailer. Yeah.
Well, you can go on Facebook. I think I'm still on Deborah Monk author Facebook page. You can see my book trailer.
Yep, we can see your book trailer, and you have to also remember that when you're using music and images, some of those things are copyright issues.
Copyright attorneys.
Are you suggesting that one would listen to their husband?
Never. Thank you.
Because that's important.
Yes, and so
Yes.
it is a learning curve, and so on my book trailer, the second half of the music is stripped. So the first, I don't know, I think it was roughly 500 people saw it with the music because I used the same song but by 2 different artists. So I used Que Sera Sera because that's in the book, and the first version is I want to say Peggy Lee.
Shirley Bassey?
No, Doris Day.
Doris Day.
And
And they
that
only
one,
stripped half of your music.
Well, that one
right?
stayed.
It begins.
Right.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
because
could
there is
say
stuff
that.
that's royalty free, right?
Right.
So there's certain.
Once you cross over the 50-year mark, I
You
believe
can-
it's fair game.
Yes, exactly. So you just have to make sure that what you're using is royalty free.
Unless a
Right.
new label has recently
Redone it.
purchased, and then they remaster it, and then they can release that new remastered version, and now you got another 50 years. So
Right. Right. So you do
Yeah.
have to watch that.
So will
the-
you relaunch Julia Stone? Will you do a book trailer for Julia Stone as well? Or is that just,
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Boy, I don't know.
because I see a Volkswagen Bug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
See?
Yeah, that could
Because
be fun.
what you wanted to, when you were recreating the cover for Well-Behaved Women, was to reinvent the Julia Stone, and you redid the cover. So now you have this
right.
mesh, this
The
uniform,
branding,
this
look.
branding,
Right.
which will relate to all the marketing, right?
And searching for Julia Stone. She did it. She danced in that. Mm-hmm. Wow. What? Boy, I'm so glad
Do you
I'm
need a
here
pen?
today. Wings
Jot
and
that down.
yeah.
yeah.
Right?
That could be really
So
fun.
it's Marketing Mania, or I said, it's getting lost in the marketing maze, which I think we're going to make this 2 podcasts because we have
we're
so
gonna need to.
much
Yes.
to talk about
Exactly.
in all different forms.
And just getting back real quick to the book trailer, you want to make sure it has a lot of punch, grabs your attention, and that you want to watch it over and over again. And one thing that I like is, because I was watching a bunch of them, is if you don't really, if the characters are kept kind of vague, so if you don't necessarily see their faces or something, because then I'm the kind of person who wants to read a book before I see the movie.
Right.
I want to create the characters myself in my head before it gets ruined by, whoever. Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood's calling.
Yeah, so I saw some that were either didn't have characters in them. It was more like the words and scenery and whatnot. Or if they did have characters, it was like the back of their head, or it was a little bit blurred, so that it left room for the imagination to kind of create that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, when I did mine, I didn't really think of it as characters.
No, you didn't. You went a different.
I did more like the mood.
Right.
What is the feeling
Right.
the journey
The
that you're going to
tone.
take?
Right. Yeah, right.
You mean that this whole time the back of my head could have starred in her little trailer?
It could have. Yes.
I can't believe we didn't think of that. I've been told that I have an unbelievably good back of the head.
I like to see it.
I think Jonathan's back of his head needs to be in your next book trailer.
Well, yeah.
For a small fee.
For
The
a
back
small
of my head
fee.
could be starring in anyone's trailer.
At this rate, I don't think I can afford it.
I love it.
Well,
I
and
love
that's the other piece. I mean, you can do a book trailer on a huge budget and, hire professionals, and you can do it on a small budget and do a lot of it yourself. So like anything, you have to kind of find how much you're able to do, comfortable to, good at doing, and then hire people to help you out when needed. So we don't have too much time, but do we want to cover podcasts real quick? And we'll
We
do
can.
that one.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's another way to kind of get the word out there, right? And we've had folks on our podcast talking about their books. We've had, Rick Peoples, Bridget.
Stephanie Queen.
Right.
Bridget Cooper, Stephanie Queen.
Yep.
Marcy Shimoff.
Right. So that's just another way to reach more listeners to, hop on a podcast and talk about what you're writing, what you just released.
Go on a little podcast tour.
Yes.
And you could bang a tour out in a day or two by setting up the different times, because most podcasts get pre-recorded.
Yes.
And they're audio only, so you can Skype in, they can record the information, edit it, and then it goes up on their next episode. So you yourself could bang it out in a day or two, and then the podcast could be coming out for the next couple of weeks.
Exactly. That's great. You could kind of schedule it so it covers.
The chances of, let's say, first, it's not as easy as it sounds. You have to reach out to them. You have to have communication. You have to go back and forth. You have to figure out times that fit.
But-
There's no
but
way you're
none
going to
of
be able
it's
to
easy.
say.
No,
None
but
of
you,
it's
you
writing
walked,
it to
you walked
marketing
around
it.
to stores.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing's
know?
easy.
And we're going to invite people to come on ours. So if you want to pitch your book, promote your book, send us a message, and, we'd talk about working something out and having you Skype in, or if you're local, come in. And we'd love to support some local authors.
I heard a rumor that you girls could potentially be having a very controversial guest on to discuss his writing, which is he writes a newspaper. Mm-hmm. And that is a show I'm looking forward to.
We will be booking that one soon.
We're going to need a bleep button, I think, because he's got a little bit of a mouth on him.
My new friend.
I want a bleep button.
You don't need a bleep button.
But I'd use it.
Practice one. She could practice
Shelley, on
one.
the other hand,
Shelley,
could use a
I need a
bleep
bleep button. I do need a bleep button.
Oh, gosh. Well, I think that's going to be it for us today, but we will do a round two because we have more.
Yeah, we have more info on marketing with
Yeah.
all kinds of things from book clubs to podcasts and more.
And everything in between. So thank you for listening to the Writer's Block. Check us out at the Writer's Block NH Facebook page. And may you be inspired, feel empowered, and be well.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.